Thank you, Chris.
You bet.
God bless.
God bless you. With us now here on set is Congressman Dave Min of California, who is lucky enough to represent really one of the nicest places in America. Coastal Orange County is a pretty good place to be.
Lovely. Our beaches are really lovely all time of year.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I want to get your reaction first. So if we listen between the lines of...
lot to unpack there.
Of what he said. He said the president doesn't have the power to impound money. And he said that the Senate can't pretend like the tax cuts aren't going to expire. Was I getting that right?
You heard that and a lot of other stuff, and it was a lot to unpack, a lot of complicated language when a lot of clear answers were a lot easier. Yes, what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing is illegal. And just for folks who don't know, impoundment control refers to the idea that the president can't just withhold funds that Congress has authorized. He also can't just undo laws that Congress has passed. And that's what a lot of this is about right now. My kids learn this in elementary school. In 3rd grade in California, they teach this. But Congress and only Congress is given the authority to make laws and to spend money. And so all these complicated things out there, impoundment, words people don't understand, they're really about this issue, which is when the president says, I'm going to delete the Department of Education or USAID, I'm going to fire tons of people and use that money for other things.
But this is a legal fight the administration is looking for, right? In the president's order last week, basically he's saying, we're going to get sued, we're taking this to the courts, and we're going to get it.
But the problem right now is the people are actually getting fired. They're actually shuttering agencies, and they're doing it with the flick of a switch. A 25-year-old coder named Big Balls. That's how it's happening. It's not happening through Congress, and that is what's so illegal about this. That's what's so unconstitutional about it. So when you heard Chair Arrington talk about it, you know, a lot of subtleties there. But I wish more congressional members would follow the lead of Susan Collins here and just call a spade a spade. They are breaking the law. They're violating the Constitution, and Congress needs to step up. This is not a partisan issue at the end of the day.
Okay, so it's the Article 3 branch, though, that the administration is focused on right now. And they're saying that these judges, the description of judges as people who are thwarting the appropriate powers of the president and doing these things, and these district judges are overstepping their bounds when they're forbidding these closures from taking place.
And that's the problem right now, is the judges are actually doing their job and interpret. This is not complicated constitutional doctrine. Again, Congress has the right to make laws. Congress has the right to pass money, and Trump is trying to take that away from us. He's going at the heart of our democracy right now. Congress is not stepping up. Instead, we're helping the president attack the judges for doing their job. And by the way, there's a reason that the president is going after universities and law firms right now, because those are the institutions that can also help call out the fact that all of what Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing right now is illegal and a violation of the Constitution. So that's what this is about. I also want to point out what he said about Social Security, because when he talks about mandatory cuts, mandatory spending, that's a fancy way of saying the programs that are not authorized every year by Congress, programs that are Social Security, Medicare, and a lot of veterans' health care. And you heard him say, again, very opaquely, we need to bend the curve on mandatory spending. What he really meant is that we need to have major cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And so I appreciate the fact that he's being honest, unlike Elon Musk. That is what they're going after. The problem here for Republicans is that the math is a basic math problem. And I hate to be the Asian guy that comes on your show to talk about math.
You've got jokes
as it turns out, I am pretty good at math. But you can be terrible at math and understand that when you talk about cutting $2 trillion from the annual budget, or $1 trillion, as Musk has done, you can't do that with waste, fraud, and abuse. The entire domestic discretionary budget, that's like USAID, the DOJ, the EPA, that's only $900 billion. You need to find a lot more in cuts, and that's why they're going after Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare.
But what about what the chairman said, which is, we have a cliff coming up on Medicare. We have a cliff coming up on Social Security. We have an insolvency problem. And if both parties say, if you say anything about it, we're going to blow you up, which both parties do, then we never do the structural things that are required to preserve these programs. The
cliff is smaller than you think, though. Think about it this way. The problem is like 10, 20, 30, 40 years out. And so little changes right now to the program will make those things. But what it will ruin those programs, though, is massive cuts. In the name of efficiency. And I want to get to something here. This is not about efficiency. This is about finding $1.6 trillion in spending cuts, as the chair, again, kind of alluded to, so that they can justify $4.5 trillion in tax cuts. And that's what this is about. And those tax cuts, as you know, are geared primarily to the richest people in the world. And I say world because a lot of them actually go to foreign investors. These tax cuts are targeted at corporate investors, investors in private equity funds, real estate investment trusts, things that you and I probably don't invest in because we're regular people. example, these are things that billionaires invest in, and 20% of private equity investors are foreign. 36% of corporate investors are foreign. That means they're getting huge tax breaks. So this is such an immoral agenda because they're trying to cut veterans' health care, food for the hungry, also that Saudi and Russian billionaires can get a bigger tax break. It's just wrong.
Okay. You're on the House Oversight Committee.
I am.
And our own Michael Schnell asked the Speaker about an investigation into the Signal chat leak scandal thing. And he told Michael that he hadn't even considered that, but that it doesn't seem necessary. I assume that you are of a different opinion.
I'll put it this way. I have gotten tens of thousands of phone calls, emails, and letters since I took office. I've been in office for 83 days. It feels like I've been in office for 8 years. But
you've been busy.
Yeah, but I've gotten 0 phone calls about some of the stuff we've covered, like lab rats that are transgender. Like, we've had hearings about random things. We have not had any hearings about Doge. We have not had any hearings about the illegal activities of Trump and Musk. And we're going to have 0 hearings about SignalGate. Even though this is not only a national security scandal, it is a scandal about breaking the law, which is what we're supposed to cover. Why are they on Signal in the first place? They're supposed to be on secure government channels. And the obvious explanation, the only explanation, is that they're trying to set those disappearing messages so that they don't have to report to the American people what they're up to. So the real question we should be focused on right now is what else is this administration discussing over Signal that they don't want the American people to know about?
Okay, in California, Ro Khanna, your fellow congressman from California, from a northern district, has been going all over the state holding rallies, and it's got a real progressive Tea Party vibe, right? And doing the stuff. We've seen the same thing from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders. Are you concerned that progressives are getting so fed up, that sort of the hard left is getting so fed up that moderation, the move to moderation that we've seen among some Democrats is killed in its crib?
So I'm a moderate, and I represent a moderate district. I'll tell you, I had my own town hall recently. 1,800 people showed up.
Wow.
And they were fired up. And these are people across the spectrum. It's not an ideological thing. Certainly progressives when we're represented. But I'm hearing from all over people that want us to stand up and fight for the rule of law, for the Constitution, for democracy. These are not left-right issues. And it's unfortunate that these have become issues associated with the left wing of the Democratic Party. But I tell people there is no moderation or caution in defense of the Constitution. We all have to be outspoken. And I think more and more Democrats, and hopefully some Republicans, are coming to that position. Because, again, this is not about, should we have Medicare for all or should we have a more progressive set of policies? It's about defending the most cherished institutions of the Constitution of the United States, of our democracy, of our rule of law. And as the son of Korean immigrants who came here to this country in pursuit of those values because they were a shining beacon to my parents and so many like them, these are very real to me. Democracy is important. Diversity is important. Economic opportunity is super important. These are not left-right at the end of the day. I think we have to be outspoken right now because these values and ideals and democratic institutions are under attack.
There you have it. If you ever ate your lobster off a paper plate at the Crab Cooker in Newport Beach, and it's good, you would know him already. But if you don't, here he is, Congressman.